Welcome to another episode of Forge. In this episode, we're going to cover something that you cannot miss. If your business doesn't know this, if you're not familiar with this concept, you stop marketing, stop everything, and figure this out. This is a must know. You cannot miss this. If you're not doing this thing, oh man, you're marketing entirely wrong. So what is that thing? It's archetypes. So what is an archetype? Without getting too much in the weeds, Carl Jung, psychologist, came up with archetype theory. He identified 12 key archetypes that exist throughout culture, across cultures and throughout time. As humans tell stories, these 12 different types of characters, archetypes, appear in all of these stories. Why is that important? Why is that important to your marketing? Story is what sells. Story is what humans resonate with. From a very early age, we are trained to think in stories, and this is true across cultures. Okay, I've got 6 kids, and I sit down starting with the oldest when we just had one, and all through as you sit down with them to get them ready for bed. What do you do if you're a parent? This is going to sound familiar. You're going to sit down with your kids. You maybe read them a story, or before even that, you might be asking them, especially as they're starting to learn and they're starting to develop their language. What do? You start to ask them questions like, what did you do today? And then what did you do? And how did you do that? Who did you do that with? What are you teaching them? You're teaching them to put their life into a narrative, a story. That's how our memory works, is stories. We are creatures built to understand and connect to story. That's why it's important. So as Carl Jung is a psychologist, why did he, with archetype theory? Because he was trying to explain human behavior as a psychologist. He identifies these 12 different archetypes, and there are some, a lot of other research has been done into these since then. There's other researchers and writers who have dived deeper, and they have identified there are some sub archetypes to this. There's books out there you can get. One's called Hero and the Outlaw, great book that dives into these things. But the 12 key archetypes are outlaw, magician, hero, the lover, the jester, the everyman, the caregiver, the ruler, the creator, the innocent, the sage, and the explorer. And as you look at this chart that I'm sharing, you'll see that they're separated kind of into quadrants, right? 3, 3, 3, and 3. And starting inside here, what you're going to find is that the quadrants share something in common, right? So the outlaw, the magician, and the hero, they want to leave a mark or leave a legacy, but they're driven by different things, right? So you may not know about archetypes until I just told you, right? You maybe never heard of them. Maybe you have, but a lot of people haven't. And but whether you have or you haven't, you can see them in story really easily as I start to explain a couple of different examples. So if we look at, say, Yoda, what was Yoda? Was he an outlaw? Absolutely not. You know that immediately. Was he a lover? No. Was he a jester telling jokes? A little bit, but no, he wasn't a jester. He was a sage, right? He wanted. That's why Luke Skywalker went to this guide for sage wisdom, right? To be trained. Okay. Now we start to see, as we leave the movies, another place out, by the way, Avengers, great place, because like Captain America, hero, fully hero. Okay. What's the doctor guy? I can't even think of his name, but he's a magician. Like literally uses magic, right? Like it's in your face with magician. Tony Stark and Iron Man, outlaw through and through, right? Think about Tony Stark's behavior, and cavalier. That's what he was. But let's start to translate this into marketing. But before we get even into marketing, let's look at at people. People tend to have these archetypes as well. Tiger Woods built his career on being an innocent. Okay, started when he was tiny on TV, putting the ball. He's the nation's son, right? And everyone loves him. And then he has this sex scandal, and really damaged his brand and who he was, right? There are other people who are loose in their lifestyles, equally so or more so than Tiger Woods, that people accept. Why is that? You know, uh, it's because they're not the innocent archetype. The archetype that we expected from Tiger Woods was the innocent. And so when he violated that, it was like he was violating our trust because we had come to expect an innocent, an archetype, right? Okay, so now I don't want to get too political, so let's take politics out of it and let's just look at it from a strictly branding and marketing perspective. What went wrong when Bud Light used Dylan Mulvaney in a campaign? There was a visceral reaction, and why is that? It comes down to archetype theory. There are plenty of other people and businesses who have used Dylan Mulvaney to promote their products with no backlash or minimal backlash. Why is that? It comes down to archetype theory. Bud Light is an everyman, right? They wanted pursuing connection and belonging, but middle America with middle America values. Again, take all politics out of it. What does that mean? What did they build their brand on? They built their brand on these horses running through the heartland of America, hard work, right? And hard blue collar type of guys, blue collar type of every man, every woman, every person. Okay, now that comes with a certain set of expectations as the archetype. So when that was breached, it was a violation of that trust. That's why the reaction was so visceral. And so what you can do as a brand, and what you must do, and this is what I'm saying from the beginning of this video, what you must do is you must identify what your brand is. By identifying what your brand is, you can cut through the noise. You don't have to be talking. You don't have to be talking to every single person expecting you to be every single thing. Instead, what you can do is you can identify who you are and what is your audience looking for. Are they looking for a sage and you are a sage? Well, then stop talking to the people who are looking for a caregiver. There's probably there in your industry and what you do, there may be another brand that speaks to the caregiver audience and is as a caregiver archetype better than you. And that's fine. Because what's going to happen is if you are a sage, if that's who you are, but in your marketing, you put out that you are a hero, and you like, oh, this is really cool if we use these words and we use this type of imagery that is associated with a hero archetype, what are you going to do? You're going to attract someone looking for a hero archetype to solve the problem. And then when they experience you, and they experience you as the sage that you are, it's going to feel authentic. The whole thing is going to feel authentic. It's going to feel inauthentic to them. That's not going to be someone who goes and tells their friends about you. That's not going to be someone who comes back and buys from you. Where you create connections is through the story, and understanding who you are and who your audience is critical to that story. That's where the story starts and ends. So if you're the sage and someone's coming to you looking for understanding, give them understanding. Let's talk to them as a sage. That doesn't mean you can't throw in a couple jokes here and there as a gesture. That's fine. You can do that. But Google as a sage is going to tell different jokes because they're sage first. They can still tell some jokes, but they're going to be highbrow. They're not going to be, toilet humor that a pure jester might be able to get away with. So what you need to do is you need to understand who you are. What do you have to offer? What is your target audience looking for? And then now you can go and market. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you're not doing this, you're marketing wrong because you're probably putting out different messages, whatever feels funny or feels good at the time. And so you're going to be all over the board on this, even though the core of who you are as a business doesn't change. What you have to offer doesn't change. If your messaging changes, you're attracting the wrong types of people. This is one key way that you can help your sales team. You can help your retention rates. You can help your revenue, because what you're going to create is loyal customer bases who have authentic experiences with you. They're not going to use these words, right? They're not going to say, I was looking for a sage and they were so wise and sageful. They're not going to say that. What they're going to say though is, these guys had exactly what I was looking for. Well, 100% buy from them again. Those are the kind of reviews you like. That's the kind of customers you want, right? You don't want the guys that you're battling with all the time, the customers that you're battling with all the time. You want to be able to go and say to the family, looking for a car, you don't want to be the Explorer and be cheap. You want to be something maybe more that's like the hero, or a caregiver that's about safety of your car's brand, because who do you want? You're targeting families who want the safety for their family, and when they get that and that's what they feel, and you promote that with your 5-star safety ratings, and then they feel safe in your car, and then when it's time for them to buy another car, guess who they're coming back to? They're coming back to you. So archetype theory is foundational and fundamental to your marketing message, because it clearly conveys who you are to your desired audience so that you get the right people. Your audience isn't everyone. Contrary to many business owners and operators' beliefs, your target audience isn't everybody. And even within the target audience that you think it is, it's actually really a subset of that audience of people who are looking for exactly what you have to offer. And by doing that, by speaking just to them, you save money by not targeting all the other people. Your budget is more efficient. You drive home. Your message resonates. Boom. Now you have loyal followers who not only return to you, but become your advocates because of the authentic experience and journey and story you were able to connect with them. So if you haven't done this, do this now. If you need help with this is something that Revity we'd love to do. Reach out to us. We'd love to help you through this journey and identifying what your archetype truly is. And we'd love to help you. And good luck in identifying this, because it will transform your business.